My name is Elaine A.M. Smith and welcome to my writing zone. March the 9th is World Read Aloud Day. My very first video log is dedicated to World Read Aloud Day and Encounters, a sci-fi novel I've written for readers aged 9 and above. Chapter 1 is called Like Death. She wedged her feet against the rail, but it didn't stop her sliding. With her forehead pressed against her knees, something wet trickled down the side of her nose. "Brace yourself," her dad hissed through clenched teeth, "and keep your head down." When she wanted to look up, she pulled her hair, fingers curled into the back of her head. The first violent swerve sent her crashing against the steel ledge. It fractured her skull above the ear. She lost consciousness. In the sleeping compartment of the cream and maroon van they'd converted into a home, she rolled like a marble when they veered across the white lines painted down the centre of the road. The choice was not if they would die, only how it would happen. There was a wall of rock, a petrol tanker lying more like a victim than an assassin, and the steep drop to the river. Her father had not decided which way they would die. Another car was close behind them as the road slipped around the last corner. The driver of the small red sports car threw back his head and howled when the van cut across his path. He revved his engine and tried to pass again. Unable to see the danger, the first time he knew something was badly wrong was when the brake discs of the mobile home screamed and the lights blazed blindingly red. Fingers sweating on the steering wheel, her dad locked his elbows and drove away from the tanker. He kept his eyes on the bright yellow star lighting the way ahead. They were still on the road when the red convertible rammed into the back. The van flew farther and faster. Wheels spinning, they carried on the same course, only the ground was missing. The driver in the small car didn't make the same choice. Wrestling for control, he noticed the danger too late. He didn't have enough time to avoid the tanker. Most of his passengers were lucky, too busy watching the van to realize what kind of death lay waiting for them. In a flash of incandescent blue, followed by the yellow-orange of pure heat, the explosion erupted. A ball forced into flaming spears. One flashed out and caught the van in the moments before momentum lost out to gravity, the splattering liquid glinting like a shower of sunlight. The stickers on the windows puckered and shriveled. Diving steeply, the van hit the water. The rest of the contents kept on moving. Designed to protect the objects stored inside, the boxes crushed their fragile bodies. The van sank. Water gushed in unevenly. Stained crimson, it swirled and bubbled. With a dull, metallic thud, the van hit the bottom of the river. The icy water revived the girl. Floating, following a bubble of air along the top of the van, her fingers slid over the slick, curved plastic window. A milky white film clouded her vision. Her heart raced as she pushed against the perspex. She panicked when no matter how hard she pushed against the window, it pushed back at her much harder. Pain bled away. The cold only ached and numbed her. She fought the weakness. Taking a deep breath, she submerged herself and tried to move the boxes trapping her against the roof of her home. She was boxed in, even while she kicked to keep her face in the last bubble of air. She knew it would not last. When fingers clawed her from the last of the breathable oxygen, she struggled to stay. She fought against him, even when she knew if she stayed she would only have a few more minutes left to live. This week she could not survive. Out there in deep water, the boxes were propelled away. Fingers dug into her back through the thin material of her t-shirt. She tore against the jagged metal when she was pulled out at the back of the van. When the crushing ache in her lungs made her dark with panic, cold hands turned her. He gripped her shoulders. His strong kick kept them in place when her legs waved with a force like ribbons in air. Face to face, his wasted bubbles of air tickled her skin as they streamed close to her skin. His expression was mask smooth, until his dark eyes narrowed and she began to struggle again. He shook his head and guided her numbed fingers until she held her nose closed. Then his soft lips met hers hard. She nodded. Sharp pain radiated through her head. She clung to him as the air he shared relieved her. She nodded, a slow and careful movement. With his other arm holding her against his chest, he kicked hard enough to drag them both up towards the flaming surface of the river. Thank you for listening. That was the end of Chapter 1 of Encounters, an MG sci-fi adventure.